Hey all, and welcome back for another round of HellfireComms Patreon TV comms. Today we're checking out a brand new series by the name of Witch Hunter Robin. This is an occult detective supernatural action thriller thing. Yeah, it's kind of a jack of all trades really, and full disclosure, we have actually tried to record these episodes before, but we weren't particularly happy with our takes on them, so this won't be a blind watch per se, but hopefully it will be a better recording run than last time. So we're going to get straight on into it. Everything you guys will need to sync up our commentary to your copy of the media can be found in the video description. If you're confused, give that a look. We're going to count you down to episode 1, and when we're done, we'll ask you to close that down and load up episode 2. We'll chat about episode 1, and we'll count you down to episode 2, and so on. So here we go. Episode 1 of Witch Hunter Robin in 3, 2, 1. Okie dokie. Sorry for doing all the talking so far, Volk, but I'm just going to talk a little bit more, if you don't mind. Witch Hunter Robin is a 2002 Japanese anime series created by Sunrise. The series follows a fictional Japanese branch of a secret global organization called Solomon, or the Solomon Tokatsu Nin Indantai, roughly Solomon Executive Organization, abbreviated as STN or STNJ. Solomon fights the harmful use of witchcraft using a database of witches, which includes those who obtain the power of witchcraft through genetics, and others who carry the gene, called seeds, in order to arrest or eliminate them should their powers awaken. The series focuses on one STNJ member, Robin Cena. Do you have any, knowledge or history of the series, mate?
I don't. As far as the episode we've already watched and tried to record are concerned, no. But
Yeah.
It's very, very similar from what I've seen at the very least to stuff like Ghost in the Shell, Psychopath, and Ergo Proxy. So, having watched at least a couple of those shows before, this was rather familiar for me at least. It was fairly easy to get into.
This dark, brooding fellow here is Amon. No, not the guy from Season 1 of Legend of Korra. Amon is a very serious and mysterious person. He was assigned as Robin's partner and guardian. Initially, Robin blank, 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 blank. That's spoilers. He is voiced in Japanese by Takuma Takiwaka and Crispin Freeman in English.
Good old Krispy Kreme Freeman. Gotta love his work as Alucard and Winston.
Indeed. And this other bloke here is Haruto Sakaki. He's voiced by Jun Fukuyama in Japanese and Jonghyun Bosch in English. He's the newest member of STNJ, and he is 18 years old. Young, brash, and usually runs into danger while wasting precious Orbo bullets with poor aim. He rides on a motorcycle from one place to the next. But what is Orbo, you may ask? Well, I have this up here somewhere. Let me just type this in to a wiki I'm definitely not using to help pad the time and whatnot. Orbo is created from the blood of witches that are captured by the STNJ. It's used in a fight against witches in bullets and necklaces. Let's see here. An airgun filled with Orbo that fires darts, which the hunters use to stop witches. Shooting a witch with the darts renders them helpless, also dampens their craft once it enters a witch's bloodstream. Orbo is also used in necklaces placed in a vial that hangs around the wearer's neck. The vial of Orbo negates the effects of craft by absorbing the energy from it, making sure that no bodily harm will come to the wearer. So basically it's a witch repellent thing.
Yeah, we just saw Amon making brilliant use of it by being shouted at by a witch and just him going, "Get out of here with that weak shit." And then he just goes and shoots him. So that should help set the tone, at the very least. And we go straight into the opening.
It doesn't matter what universe you're in, you don't run from the police, and you certainly don't shout Avada Kedavra at them.
Yeah, there are some fights that you just lost, and if at that moment your last resort is to shout at them and hope they get disorientated and that doesn't work, you should just take what's coming to you. I mean, at that point you're basically screwed.
So, this originally came out, Witch Hunter Robin that is, in July of 2002. Finished on, the same year, December 24th, 2002. It's not a long series, it's only 26 episodes long. Like I said, made by Sunrise, licensed by Madman Entertainment and Funimation in America. Originally ran on Animax and TV Tokyo. The English networks were YTV in Canada, Anime Central in the UK, and Adult Swim in the US. I definitely did not watch this growing up. I think I was watching what would I have been watching around 2002? Fucking Cubics?
I don't know, but pretty much anything that would have been running perhaps maybe on Fox Kids around that time, or maybe Jetix, or probably just Dragon Ball, because that's usually what people were watching around that time, I'd wager.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, you mentioned Adult Swim, and there's a very interesting thing about episode 1. When the episode was broadcast in April 1st, 2004, Adult Swim actually electronically added mustaches and beards to all the characters.
Okay.
Because, it's Adult Swim, they like to get in on, the weird stuff, and just put beards on them, whatever.
Alright. Wasn't there a Samurai Jack April Fool's thing in recent years?
I can't say for certain, but there could very well have been.
Well. So we haven't seen our protag yet outside of the very early 2000s intro. I kind of love it, actually. But we're getting a bit of her right now. Robin Cena, spelled with an S, not a C, not to be confused with another Cena of yore. She is a 15-year-old craft user who was assigned as a replacement to STNJ. She's voiced by Akeno Watanabe in Japanese and Kari Walgreen in English.
What was Kari Walgreen in again? Oh, yes, of course. She was, Saber from the Fate series, and also voices Ash from Final Fantasy XII, if I remember correctly.
There you go. I don't think dressing like a goth is like STNJ proper uniform, but to be fair, Amon dresses like a goth himself, and Haruto just dresses like he's gone off to pop up to the store and get some milk, so I don't really know how this organization functions right now.
Functions in one way or another, I suppose. If it works and it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Now, they mentioned a factory back there. Oh yeah, I am paying attention. A factory is a place where the hunters of STNJ send the witches that they have captured. The place is run by Takuma Zaisen, who also runs the Japan's branch of Solomon. It's used to manufacture Orbo, a special liquid, stop witches, as we know. The hunters don't know what is going on inside the factory or how the Orbo is being produced. It is also a secret from Solomon.
They are milked from the witches like cows.
Considering the last witch they picked up was male, I don't need that image inside my head, thank you very much.
No. Let's just acknowledge the joke and move on, shall we? And the rather cheerful, long-haired looking chap over there that we saw earlier was Michael Lee, who is the STNJ's resident hacker and technical support expert. So he's the one that basically tells them to turn their computers off and on again if they're having problems.
Indeed. He's voiced by Hiro Yuki in Japan, which is a really Gundam Wing sounding name if I've ever heard one, and Dave Wittenberg in English. He is the only member of STNJ who doesn't actually go on hunts. He works on computers, hacking into them, and, getting information for the team. He used to be a hacker who hacked into very guarded and shielded computers like banks, but he never messed with anything. Then he accidentally hacked into STNJ's computers, seeing all the information about witches and whatnot, but then he couldn't exit from them, not even with logging out. And then, the hunters showed up and I guess recruited him and whatnot.
I believe the actual story is that he was offered a job or just death. And between the two, I think I know which one I'd rather take.
Do I get a pension? Dude, you're really not in a position to be bargaining here. Okay.
Well, you don't know until you try.
True. Who's this stiff-looking fella, mate?
I believe he is the president of the STNJ. His name escapes me at the moment, but I'm pretty sure he's the one running this whole gig.
Takuma Zaisen. He is voiced by Michihiro Ikemuzi in Japanese and Jameson Price in English.
Yeah, I get the feeling we're going to be seeing a lot more of him in the future. If I remember reading the wiki article correctly, his is a very spoilerific kind of biography, so yeah. I get the feeling he's either going to turn out to be the big bad later on down the line because, this organization is actually corrupt or something. Or maybe he's sort of working behind the scenes doing some dodgy dealings in what would otherwise be a completely legitimate establishment.
It's funny you say that because I'm looking at his wiki entry here on the fan wiki and it just says he is the administrator of the place and that's it.
I may have stumbled onto a wikia as opposed to the actual Wikipedia article, and that's where I may have potentially found some information. It didn't reveal anything, but it was definitely alluding to something. But as to what it is, well, we'll have to wait and see. If we get commissioned for enough episodes, I'm sure we'll find out.
Indeed. The blonde-haired chick is Eureka Dojima, an 18-year-old hunter in STNJ. She's lazy, vain, and immature. She'd rather go shopping than on missions, and when she finally goes on a mission, she does as little as possible. Voiced by Kyoko Hikami in Japanese and Michelle Ruff in English. I'm, hearing a lot of, or seeing, rather, seeing, hearing, same thing really. A lot of familiar, like, dub actors here, but nothing, like, super mainstream like Steve Blum and, like, Quentin Flynn and so on.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you got Johnny Young Bosch in there, who's still very much making his rounds in the voice acting community. Actually, his very recent role is actually Doyle from Bucky, which recently got a dub over on the US and UK version of Netflix, and I've actually been using that as an excuse to rewatch it.
Yeah, Volk's big into Bucky the Grappler. I could get into it, but I've got so many other, like, shows and Patreon stuff to deal with that I just don't really have the time to watch anything outside of, like, JoJo.
Yeah, to be honest though, Netflix has been doing a really good job with anime as of late. There's a bunch of really good stuff on there at the moment. You got your Bucky, you got your Castlevania, you got High Score Girl, which I've actually been watching a fair bit of recently, and that is a really top-notch show. Like, they've been really knocking it out of the park and really been stating their case that they want in on this anime business as well, and they're going in a big way.
I have no idea who this Hitler-looking motherfucker is, sadly. I don't have his file up here.
Yeah, it's like an alternate version of Hitler if you became bold and became too depressed to actually do anything.
Well, that's certainly one way of putting it, Volk, I suppose. The woman who left with Haruto is Miho Karasuma, 19-year-old craft user with the ability of psychometry, whatever that is. She can sense others' powerful feelings through touching objects and sometimes even see past events that help out the STNJ. She's voiced by Kaho Koda in Japan and Wendy Lee in English.
Wendy Lee, I believe, voiced Yukiko Amagi in Persona 4. But yeah, another thing about the weird Hitler-looking dude, his head is very much shaped like a Tic Tac, and it's kind of amusing.
The analogies you come up with, I would like to travel to your home dimension one day and see what you see.
I'd be rather happy to take you on a tour. It would be like that one JonTron episode where he stumbles into the Flex Tape dimension.
I was just watching somebody reacting to that first Flex Tape episode. Man, it was surprising to see that blow up as it is, but, you know, the internet loves a meme.
Oh yes, especially one that just ends up striking all the right notes as far as comedy gold is concerned.
Mm-hmm. We will have to pay close attention to this because, you know, we are watching the sub, which basically means we can't, you know, let the thing talk for us. But I don't think they introduce too many concepts and whatnot. They start, like, building on the whole witches thing and such. So you're not too at your depth, but like I said, it is drier than stuff we usually watch, so...
Exactly. It's more like a brief overview of, like, the who's who and what the organization does in sort of a layman's terms. They get more into the meat of what they do over the course of the next few episodes. As far as I can tell, at least from what I've seen from this episode and obviously episode 2 before it, they kind of deal with, like, a monster of the week kind of thing, where they focus on, like, maybe one particular witch or one particular character, and they then resolve all the business with that, and then... from that point on, I think as the characters get more fleshed out and explained, like, things might take a turn, but from what I can see so far, it seems very much, okay, here's a witch, here's his deal, this is what he does in the outside world, this is his dangerous powers, let's go find him and, you know, dispose of him.
Yeah, basically. For those of you not in the know, Monster of the Week basically refers to a format where the heroes essentially fight a different creature or monster every episode, hence Monster of the Week. It's used to pad out runtimes and whatnot. Steven Universe, to use a cartoon example, was very Monster of the Week early on before it came more, you know, story-based and so on from like episode 4 onwards. And I guess for like the first half of the series where you're just like building up the characters and so on, that's fine. But I'm interested to see if we do get commissioned enough where the series actually goes. I have read a few endgame spoilers just from doing research. It wasn't like on purpose, I wasn't trying to ruin my experience or anything, just how it happens to go sometimes. But yeah, I'm interested to see how the first half of the season, or show even, because there's only one season, differs to the second one.
It's going to be one of those things where, does it turn out to be like Steven Universe in that regard, or will it just be sort of Sentai, where it's just like, okay, here's a witch, and they'll have like more and more expansive powers and might be a bit more challenging as the show goes on?
Do espressos just make you inherently mad? Because for me, it's like, you're so small. What am I paying for here? A sip?
Yeah, it's one of those things that's just very, very concentrated coffee. It's not one of those things that you drink an entire mug out of unless you do not value your body in any way, shape, or form.
No.
It's one of those concentrated bursts of flavor that's meant to be as a quick pick-me-up. Think like one of those 5-hour energy packets that you can get from time to time over in your, like, local gas station stops and what have you.
Well, I won't buy espressos and whatnot from a gas station shop. No offense to anyone who works or operates those, but yeah, it's essentially it's a boost of caffeine and so on. Also, picturing me editing before my PC starts fucking freezing as it has been doing lately.
Just a dude getting his snack on while someone's like drinking this very sophisticated cup of espresso or whatever. It's like, are you two goofing off on YouTube again?
Yeah. Oh man, this reminds me of my early days in college where YouTube was like basically just starting and whatnot. I remember watching do you remember a thing called Art of the Saber?
Not really, to be honest with you. If you could explain, that would be appreciated.
It was these two Asian dudes acting out like a lightsaber fight to the backdrop of like, I think it was like someone's letter from the Civil War, and they basically made like a LARPing thing around that.
Yeah, that sounds about the right kind of content for YouTube.
It was so much more of a Wild West back then, was YouTube. Like, I don't hate what we have now, even with some of like the faults and complications of the system. But back then, it was like anything went, really. And you gotta understand, stuff like that doesn't stay free forever. Corporations, for, lack of a better word, they will come down like vultures and take their pick, as it were.
Or ride the wave of success until they eventually become a megacorporation, take over the world, and then spread their message across the galaxy.
See? They're on the ball. They know where Robin is.
Yeah, it's just like, she just checked into this really strange coffee shop. I've never been there before. The Yelp reviews are apparently terrible.
We only get one customer per episode. It's really weird.
And somehow they're still in business.
I told you not to call me unless there's a new episode of Naruto out. We've been very clear about this in our relationship.
But Amon's just chewing the fat at the moment. I mean, he may seem like one of those people who's just like, yeah, I'm too important to be talking to these scrubs, but I wouldn't say he's cold, more just focused. His mind is very much on the mission, and yeah, their phones... Did you ever think phones in that kind of era would turn out to be like that? Just like, sure, just inject the YouTube video directly into my eyeballs?
Huh. I don't know, but it's funny, like, the smartphones seem to come out of nowhere in shows like this. Like, futuristic phones would always be similar to, like, little flip ones and whatnot, just more streamlined.
I may as well get to know my only customer so far.
Arrivederci, Miss Robin Robinsino. We shall meet again, and for another tiny cup of coffee. Well, bye then. See you all later.
My turtleneck will be ready to serve you at any time.
And then she just turns into a motorbike and rides away. You can't tell me she's not a fucking, like, motorcycle Autobot with that kind of hairdo.
Ooh. Look at that. Foresight indeed. The candle was not lit, and then it was mysteriously lit. I wonder what this could possibly mean.
Could Robin be a witch?
Say it ain't so. Look, no, she is absolutely a witch. She has powers over fire, or pyromancy, if you will.
Oh yeah, that's my go-to power of choice. Like, in life, I guess, but also if I ever, like, made a D&D character.
I'm quite fond of the ice powers myself a lot of the time. Either that or electricity. I quite like that as well.
What would the electric version of Mancy be? Because I know ice is cryomancy.
I'm not sure. Like, electromancy, energymancy, I don't know. It could be a different variety of things, I suppose.
Hello, is anyone bad in here? We want to shoot you really badly.
It's just like, come on, you're ruining the fun. Just come out and take your lumps.
Do you think it's smart to go in and, like, wave a flashlight everywhere? It kind of gives your position away.
I don't know, I played a couple of video games where if you shine a flashlight in someone's face, you just literally shield their eyes and they can't do anything to you, so it could be effective in the right circumstances.
Don't break the salt seals, it will have bad ramifications down the line.
That's alright, Amon's on the job.
Alright, we have a location. Really?
Draw me like one of your French girls. It's like, dude, there's no time to be acting out Titanic. And again, I suppose it is the freshman. He's got to try and be the butt of the jokes for a little while until he becomes experienced enough.
So does this dude have power over gravity and whatnot, or anything that comes in contact with the salt/sand?
Or he just exploits these people running around with no-grip shoes.
It's definitely something to do with coming into contact with the material.
Yeah, it was either chalk or sand, one of the two, and it's just messing with all of them.
Oh, okay. Wee! You mogwai fidey so.
And then there's Robin, who's probably going to show us how it's done. It's like, look, what are you all doing sliding on the floor? I was under the impression that this was a professional establishment.
Yeah, they didn't, check their 6, they didn't check their 12 either, which is the opposite of 6 on the clock. You would have thought professionals would have seen this stuff.
Channeling her inner Wolverine. Sabretooth.
Let her sniff it. She is new. We do not understand her ways yet. So, craft user, not a witch. Same thing, really. Same fucking thing.
Kinda. It's more one exploits physical stuff, and the other one is literally just conjured from nothing.
Hey, did you call for a protagonist? I'm here to fuck shit up.
Flame shield. Yes, fire can be used defensively as well.
I'm not even going to take my hands out of my pockets for this one.
How rude.
Music's pretty dope so far.
Yes, this lady just literally conjured fire. My first line of attack is to literally charge at you head on. Is he bedeaded?
That's what you get for taking your eyes off the prize, sucker. Jesus Christ.
Hey, that's fun. Let me join in. Bow, 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 bow. Half an hour later, they're still there.
Well, don't forget, they're non-lethal bullets. It's just to put him out.
Yeah, they don't actually kill, as we discover. They are literally just taken out of commission and then assumably locked up somewhere like in Star Labs or something.
That was pretty bitchin', I'm not gonna lie. I'm kinda jealous that I don't have firepower.
I imagine having fire powers, especially if you can't control them, probably isn't necessarily the best thing. Especially if a majority of your house is flammable.
So that's how Homer burnt the cereal. I was wondering, that was such a plot hole for all these years.
Yeah, he was actually a craft user as well. He just didn't know it yet.
Get good, essentially.
Yeah, she's strong, but she still has a little ways to go in order to learn about her craft and what have you. Meanwhile, back at base. So, we're not really given the impression that it's a worldwide issue, but we can only assume it is since there are various branches and other countries of the world. So whether or not it's a case of like the most densely populated areas are the most problematic, or if they are literally global and they just have places here, there, and everywhere. But I suppose that's also something we'll find out eventually.
Your home is at the bottom of the well. Good luck.
We've put some lotion in there.
The ED. This is so early 2000s, this is actually kind of giving me culture shock.
It really is. Like, it kind of reminds me a little bit of... Well, I suppose the opening and the ED as well reminds me a little bit of what I saw in Vampire Night way back in the day. It's like all very quiet, and you sort of see the main character just kind of lounging around, looking all like mysterious and, in some cases, sinister or menacing. And it's very similar to this.
Oh god, like, if you ever watch an ED, which is just an ending thing, take note of how many people look up to the sky. Like, I'm pretty sure you'll be like 10 out of 10 for every 10 shows you watch.
Yeah, you've got the whole looking up towards the sky, running across an indescript landscape with silhouettes of the other characters floating by. They've got that there as well, usually.
I mean, you know, we are basically stereotyping here, but that's anime for you. You know, you don't have to be us.
You do get some exceptions to the rules, like when we had Ultimate Muscle brought over to our country, and we had that absolutely banging opening. Like, that's one that broke the mold, but then again, the English dubs have always done their openings and EDs a bit differently. Not so much nowadays. They tend to be very much faithful nowadays, but I kind of miss the days where they just sort of like come up with their own openings and EDs that better reflect what the show is about.
Alright, closing the video. I'm assuming that's a next time thing. What did you think of episode 1 of Witch Hunter Robin, mate?
Pretty interesting. I mean, I do think it's probably a little dry, but that's to be expected if they're taking the time to, like, explain all the characters now as opposed to later.
Yeah.
So, I don't think I can hold too much against them for that. I'm glad that they got it all pretty much out the way now without sort of leaving too much out in the open, because, you know, you gotta save some in the tank. You can't just rely on the action from that point on. You gotta have equal parts action and equal parts kind of plot, lore explanation and what have you.
I feel for like an establishing episode, it did everything it kind of needed to do. It just wasn't exactly firing on all cylinders, but you don't do that in episode 1. You don't kill the budget in the first episode and then have like episodes 4 to 7 be kind of like mediocre and whatnot. So let's see episode 2 before we basically decide how we feel here. And if you guys are ready, I'm going to count you down into it. In 3, 2, 1. Alright, what's Robin got for us this time?
Well, we already know the answer to that question.
I know,
but yeah,
but
this
still.
will be the first episode that kind of plays into the whole Monster of the Week thing we were talking about earlier. So we'll have our first full-blown encounter with a witch that will stretch across the entire episode and take care of, like, the introduction, the investigation, and then the conclusion, as you might expect.
Ah, the conclusion comes at the end?
Yeah, oddly enough. I mean, it's not like a to-be-continued thing, although they might pull that off later on, you never know.
Japan, she is 15, for fuck's sake. I'm just saying.
It's alright, Tom.
I'll just have a whole stick of butter for breakfast, why the hell not?
I'm just gonna eat this block of wood.
So who's this character? I don't think we, like, even... Toko, who is that?
I believe that's her landlady.
Okay. So is Robin half Italian, half Japanese? Because she said she apparently was raised in Japan but doesn't remember.
I think I have the answer to that question here. I believe she was raised in Italy, but she was born in Japan.
Okay. Makes sense why the espresso was the thing she ordered at the restaurant, I suppose. Now leave, landlady. I need at least 2 hours to style my hair and to handle those.
Can't forget that quality TV time as well. You can't go to work without getting in some good old telly.
Don't forget at least 30 minutes to cast Dust Be Gone from the bottom of my dress, because, God, this dress is fashionable, but it sure doesn't, like, help scraping the ground every time I go outside.
It's like nobody told her that Victorian week ended years ago.
Did you ever have that in your school? Like, you had to dress as a Victorian or something?
Oh, we have that all the time where I live. We have, like, proper full-blown parades and everything when we have Victorian week on.
Like, I had old clothes on and such, and like a flat cap.
Oh yeah, you have people, like, running around, like, full-blown suits, top hats, like the walking sticks and what have you, and then you'll have all the ladies in, like, their traditional dress as well, and you have, like, the town choir going around as well, like, hear ye, it's Victorian week.
Yeah, that was in junior school for me, but you didn't come here to hear anecdotes from me, or maybe you did. Anyway, back to the Toonami AMV.
Oh yeah, one thing to note, that keypad is blatantly wrong. I actually noticed this after we finished our first failed recording of the episode 2 TV comm. The actual numerical sequence goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 7, 9, instead of 7, 8, 9.
Maybe it will come up in a future episode. Maybe it was intentional, you don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how these newfangled Japanese appliances and what have you work. That could be the norm for them, for all I know.
Oh, bless. This is actually a pretty decent OP theme. I like it. It's very melodic.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not like what I would technically classify as a banger, but it's easy on the ears, it's good to listen to.
Some nice fluid animation as well. Obviously, the series itself can't be like this, but again, budgets are a thing.
It reminds me of a music video that would come out of someone like Evanescence or something.
Oh god, yeah. Wake me up inside.
Can't wake up. It really does. If you put that over the top, it would probably work.
You know, originally that was not going to have the rap element, and they have since released a version without it, but it's funny, like, you go back and listen to it, and I've listened to the original so many times, it just sounded wrong to me, like lyrics were missing or something.
I know, right? It's one of those things just like, hey, maybe it would sound better like this, but you're so used to how the original sounded, you just can't separate it anymore. Oh no, there's the keypad in question, 879, there you go. I can remember if it was that keypad or the remote.
It's okay, Lash, you're one of us now, come in.
Sorry about yesterday, you have to understand, being a receptionist is a really fucking boring job most of the time.
It really is, like, I don't know any receptionists off the top of my head, and I would hope they at least get a TV to watch.
Or are allowed to bring, like, their phones with them or something.
Are you playing a Nintendo Switch while there are customers to have seated and whatnot? Yes, I'm sorry, sir.
Just like, I'm just having some smash while they're waiting for their appointment, you know?
Yeah, I think this blondie here is one who watches the news all the time, but it's okay, the boss has given Robin an out.
So here's the witch in question that we're going to be facing up against, who is a Kazuya Misawa, I believe.
I'm just going to cancel this Domino's order, bring up the relevant information. He is 28 years old. Not needed, but, you know, we got to have all the facts.
It's kind of reminding me of sort of like in Persona 5 where you have like the fantasy, so alright, here's our next target. He's like an eccentric millionaire who has a really dark past.
It's really silly. Now, excuse me while I wipe away these sweat beads of guilt.
Yeah, he just had an eyedropper and just like blink, blink. There we go. That would be convincing.
It reminds me of something I was reading about recently. There was this dude who, it's a trigger warning, I guess, murdered his wife and children and, like, bundled them off to, like, an oil field or something. And on the documentary, you can see the moment where he realizes he's been caught.
It's always amazing when you could just capture moments like this, just like, he got ya!
It's funny because he put his hands on the back of his head, and when I say that, you may know what I'm talking about. And it was like, oh, take me away, I suppose. But, you know, I'm confusing real life with anime here, so...
I don't know, some things in real life just seem so out there that you almost can't believe it actually happened. And that was definitely one of those moments. It's sort of like those Saturday morning villains accidentally revealing their plan sort of thing.
So the commonly accepted view, I suppose, is witches don't really exist, so that's where STNJ comes in to mop them up behind the scenes. They're kind of like Men in Black without the mind erasing thing, but this owl-looking motherfucker needs to go down, because A, he's smug, B, he probably did do the deed, and C, refer back to A.
Repeat ad infinitum.
Sorry, I just need to blaze it up from time to time.
What kind of a fucking lighter is that? It's just like, yeah, I just got this novelty lighter from a joke shop. It's like 3 feet tall and really difficult to use, but I keep it anyway because, like, it was a gift from my granddaughter or something. The fucking Avon's face. It's just like, meh.
So is this Father Giuliano thing, mate? He seems acquainted with Robin or vice versa.
I'm not sure. Maybe it was like a previous mentor, maybe a father figure of sorts. But either way, we haven't seen him, as far as I'm aware, so we can only assume that he is a character merely referred to, as opposed to one that is important at this present moment in time.
I was going to get to the no-kill policy, Robin, but we don't do things like this here. It may have been different in Italy, where you have an espresso, go out and murder, and then come back and have another espresso, but there you go.
So yes, they explained the Orbo a little bit here, but it's essentially, yeah, rather than killing him, we just douse them in green shit, and then we just drag him off into our dungeon.
Enjoy the Kool-Aid, motherfucker.
It's just filled with Mountain Dew Baja Blast or something. It's like, nobody's actually said it's just Mountain Dew yet. So we're calling it Orbo and saying that it has witch nullifying property so we can make a bit more money out of it.
Weird how Robin doesn't care for Orbo. Do you think there's any reason as to why that might be?
Well, I mean, if she does have a craft, then maybe she sees it as something dangerous to herself as well, and maybe she has objections to it for that reason?
Or it, like, stops her from doing her job at 100% or whatever.
Yeah, I imagine just being around it probably weakens your craft powers.
It's okay, sir. I'll teach her a thing about guns.
So at this point, Amon's basically being appointed as being Robin's protector. Although one might even say that he's been tasked with just keeping an eye on her, and maybe not hesitating to destroy her if she turns out to be too difficult to control, she grows too powerful. It seems like one of those things just like, yeah, we got a really powerful craft user and we can clearly use her, but we definitely don't want to leave her unsupervised. So, you know, just keep an eye on her, and then if she starts acting all crazy, just do what needs to be done.
There's such a newbie thing to have happen to you. Can you go make the tea? Can you go make the tea? Like, I haven't really had any IRL jobs except for a product demonstrator at, like, a local supermarket, but I remember during my work experience, making tea and whatnot was one of the things I was expected to do.
It's like shades of Retsuko, isn't it? Just like, I think I'll just go make more tea.
Oh, season 2 this year, mate. I'm so excited.
And we had that Christmas special to tease us as well. That was some good shit, too.
It was good. It was good. I expected more to happen, but I wasn't disappointed with what I got.
No, I mean, it's only a Christmas special that's the same length as a normal episode, so I suppose you can't be too surprised. Just listening to Tasty Jams on his MP3 player whilst typing away. Yep, that's me in my IT classes, alright.
It's nice to see that Robin has a bit of a rapport with the members already, although it might just be that Miho and Haruto here are just nicer than, say, Yuriko, who's a bit of a cunt.
Yeah, I mean, the other guys are freshmen as well, so they kind of like have the similarity with both being the newer guys in the establishment.
Why do we even employ you?
Isn't he like the president's daughter or something like that?
It wouldn't surprise me, but I don't know.
I'm fairly certain that's the case.
Well, we shall see, because we have indeed been commissioned to do further episodes.
I think we've been commissioned to do up to, like, episode 5 or 7, potentially, so we've got quite a lot to look forward to, and we'll get a good idea of what the show has to offer at the very least, if it just stops there.
Yeah, we've hammered out, basically, a schedule for, like, the months going forward, so we're going to try and clear the backlog as much as possible. If you have paid for stuff, it will get covered, so don't worry. You may have to wait, but as is with HFC, you will get it in the end.
I'm loving all these nondescript cola bottles.
Might want to check the liquid in there before you get too close.
You can tell it's Coca-Cola because it has a red label and not a blue label. Because we're not peasants who have to afford Pepsi.
McDonald's, Pepsi. Getting around those copyright laws.
Oh yes. And don't forget Moogle.
And instead of cola, we'll call it sticky liquid.
Yeah, I guess?
Don't worry, I was doing a JoJo thing. Why did they fucking call him, like, Zipperman? Couldn't you have called him something else?
Yeah, but I suppose there were copyright things to get around, and they just thought, what's the simplest one we can go for?
I mean, the last two, like, Purple Smoke instead of Purple Haze and Mirror Man instead of Man in the Mirror, those are fine, and I didn't really have any problem with those. Look at all those wires.
Well, they look like they're at least well kept together.
This is me in the school library back when I was in college. I just hop on and see, like, the Smash Bros. Dojo post of the day while everyone else is, like, actually doing work.
Just checking all your webcomics.
Maybe we should work together.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I suppose we are employed in the same establishment. It would make sense to cooperate. Well, I suppose Michael is kind of being kept here against his will, or basically just told, yeah, if you don't work for us, you're dead.
Well, I mean, that kind of worked out for him, because he's set for life now.
Well, I don't know. I mean, he's not allowed to leave the facility.
Oh, okay.
But then again, he gets all the snacks and drinks delivered to him, so I suppose that's alright too.
Dude, like, if I had someone sucking me off while this was happening, I wouldn't ever leave the building.
Oh, God.
I'm just saying what yours is thinking. I'm pointing the blame onto you as to what I'm doing.
Fair enough. Well, I suppose one of us has to, and it seems like having you in there for a change does mix it up a bit.
Thanks. Did you want me to do anything in regards to this, or nope, just a money handover?
Yep, I'm just carrying a camera, don't mind me.
I'm gonna take a wild stab in the dark and say he's a private dick of some sort.
A PI, if you will.
I've captured the Benders. I'm making my move.
Ah, so there will be a wedding going on, apparently.
Huh.
Alright, looks like we got a sting operation in the works here.
That's a really nice car, I gotta say. The agency must pay well.
Well, then again, it's sort of like when you're drawing the similarities to the Men in Black, they had those really swanky cars as well.
They did. Yeah, interested at all at the reboot/continuation?
I'm interested in it. I'm not sure how it will go, but it's something that I'll at least keep my eye on, because I did quite enjoy the Men in Black in general, whether it's the movies or the animated series that was airing way back in the day. So I'll definitely give it a watch. I'll give it a chance, certainly.
I can tell.
Marriage of convenience, or just maybe just looking for a nice way to cause a tragedy and make it seem like a freak accident?
You may be onto something, Volk.
The only thing that isn't clear right now is a motive. That's the only thing we're lacking.
So is that the fiancé over there? Yep. Thank you.
It is.
I love it when I love it when I pose a question and get an answer seconds later, as opposed to the opposite, where I never get a fucking answer and I look like a tit.
This is like, yeah, you go over there and give her the business card.
All this fiancé person has to do is touch the card and she can read stuff. Card says, "Let me into your mind, please."
Well, if a card doesn't work, just get a bit touchy-feeling. That works too.
We must do this in secret. That is the way of mysteries.
Oh, just like a sneaky liaison going on here, don't mind us.
I take it we don't really have any information on the fiancé in general, yeah?
No, not yet. All we know is that Mr. Misawa is going to be attending a wedding ceremony involving this lass here.
Okay. Buckle up, lads, and Robin too, you're new. Sorry, forgot you for a second then. Eureka's like, hey, what about me? Fuck you. Go shopping, why don't you?
You'll have to earn your keep. You will not get to sit shotgun until you at least accomplish 3 missions. 2 customers! Wow, this must be my lucky day.
Yeah, it's happy hour right now.
Oh yes, the alcohol's at the back.
This is Robin's landlord, yeah?
Yeah, landlady. So, no doubt going to have a heart-to-heart with Amon beforehand. Just like, you look after that lass, yeah? I'm relying on the money to fuel my holiday fund. It would be a shame if she went out early. I wouldn't have any income then.
Ah, caca!
No, that's my bread. Thankfully, there are no seagulls in Japan. So you didn't have to worry about competing for bread slices.
This is Japan, right?
Yes, I would assume so.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure it was explained at one point that it is Japan.
Yeah, why not wait in the sting room? Sorry, I mean the chapel. Yeah, just waiting and waiting. So are they gonna try and get everything on camera, or are these 2 separate, like, organizations working in tandem, I guess?
I'm assuming so? There has to be some reason for it.
This guy right here, he doesn't seem like a member of, STNJ.
Possibly, or he may be part of, like, another thing. He may just be a very, very savvy reporter type, you know? Then again, I haven't quite gotten the hang of the names and faces in this here show, so whether or not he is related to the STNJ, I'm not entirely sure. This is a sting. This is a sting.
Yeah, I was going to play the funeral march, but that may have been a bit too on the nose.
This is a sting, and you are about to not die, because that's not how Orbo works.
A little bit of a flourish at the end there, I like it. Well, time to go shopping again.
Oh no, is she bumming off on the job again?
Yeah, she surely is.
And now these sneaky bastards get to come in.
Oh god, they're gonna ruin everything.
Yeah, that was your clue there on the radio, just like, don't you mean you're bumming off on the job again?
Always following me, always asking questions and whatnot.
Oh yes, for lawyer threats, the most powerful defense mechanism.
Okay, well, the detective dude has a grudge against Misawa, then we know that much. Oh, I see. You realise he could just stay stum, right? He doesn't actually have to talk at all.
Well, he had a sting operation of his own, I see.
Alright, you've twisted my arm long enough, it was magic.
So, you may be wondering entirely what's actually happening here. I'm not sure if it's actually explained, but I'll go ahead and explain what just happened. So, the witch in this episode, who is obviously Kazuya Misawa, as it is now revealed, has the power to kill his victims by twisting their internal organs and causing them to bleed to death.
Jeez.
That's brutal as fuck, yo.
It kind of is.
And he thought Metallica just turning his blood into literal razor blades was bad.
No, that's probably a bit worse, although both are pretty shitty ways to die.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We're here to shoot you. Please do not resist.
Why would you just set a table on fire? What did that table... No, it's not a table, isn't it? It's a bench.
A pew, perhaps?
Yes, that's the actual term, I believe, so well done. Music again on point. Look, that weak shit didn't work before. Oh no, this time he did break a pew, so he did slightly better.
So it's telekinesis of some sort that he's using, right?
Yeah. But obviously he's deflecting some shots, but he's a little bit disorientated, I imagine, from the Orbo shots that have gotten so far. So he's missing a few of his shots and isn't quite able to avoid all the aggression coming towards him.
Damn you, Kool-Aid!
Maybe if I just yell at him some more, it'll work.
It's okay, we've shot him enough. We're only allowed to shoot people 4 to 5 times per mission.
Call the factory. We're about to turn this witch into soup.
Ayy! We don't like witches. We are the witch hunters.
It's like, 'cause you a bitch. We don't take punk-ass bitches around these parts.
See? Didn't take her hands out of pockets the whole time.
Maybe she can't. Maybe someone maybe it was like a very early office prank. They just like glued her pockets, and then when she put her hands in there, now she can't take him out, but she doesn't want to make it out like she's been taken advantage of, so she's just playing it cool.
Very funny, Michael.
Oh, that Amon, the secret prankster.
Interesting, but not interesting enough for me to care. Alright, mate, I'm going to close things down here. That was episode 2 of Witch Hunter Robin. How do you feel?
I quite dug that episode. It definitely had a good flow to it. I'm very interested to see how that flow continues. I imagine they'll probably keep the same kind of system going, but maybe they'll just throw in some more interesting, like, powers, or just throw a couple of curveballs here and there just to keep it interesting, but I'm more interested to see how it will evolve from that.
Yeah. I will say it started to lose me a little bit towards the end. At least episode 2 did. 1 was great. But like Misawa's actual powers and whatnot, like the telekinesis inside someone's body so he can kill people without them realizing. That's pretty cool. That aspect I really enjoy, and the whole mystery aspect that goes along with it. But yeah, thank you, Nocturne, for commissioning these. We will be back with more. Maybe not this month, but as soon as possible. So stay tuned for episodes 3 and 4 of Witch Hunter Robin. If you guys want your own hours worth of TV comms, feel free to pledge. You can check the prices on the Patreon site, patreon.com/HellfireComms, and we will do TV, anime, and cartoons for you. Just make sure to check with us that we haven't covered anything already, and so on, before pledging. We don't want you to waste your money, and so on. See you next time for more Hellfire Comms Patreon TV comms. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.